Hey guys, Kamen here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the LVUR10 Hunter Gamer from Kamen Rider Ex-Aid. This is a gamer that can combine with Ex-Aid, Brave, Snipe, or Laser to give them their level 5 forms. This includes two things, the Hunter Gamer itself and a level 5 gamer driver. So, let's get started. Starting off, we'll look at the Hunter Gamer by itself. Taking a look at it, as suggested, I have a creature from a game called Drago Knight Hunter Z. It is this cool black dragon with various different colored segments. Starting off, we have the head and chest, which have some metallic pink on it. You also see various kind of off-white bone-colored pieces for its horns and teeth. See, on the chest it has some pink stripes and pink stars. On its right side, got some metallic blue pieces with these nice patterned lines. And on the left side, you can see these yellow pieces with these kind of scratch mark-like designs on them. You also notice that one arm has a blade on it, and the other has this kind of electro gun. You'll have the wings back here, as well as some spines that run along the back that run down to its spotted tail, which is one part that is missing some paint, as in the show, the tail actually has some orange or brown spots. And this does have an armature similar to the Robot, Beat, and Combat Gamers, so it is a bit hollow in the middle, but when you're looking at it from the front angle like this, it actually doesn't look too bad. It does have some articulation. You can open and close the two jaws. You can see it has a nice painted red tongue. Also move the arms at the elbows and shoulders. You can swivel the legs a bit on these hinges here, as well as move the feet on ball joints. Though it is a little bit hard to get standing up and has a tendency to kind of fall over, so when you're posing it, it's easiest to just use its two weapons as a balancing point. Basically just have them rest down here, so it won't fall forward. Next we'll move on to the first combination with Ex-Aid, and for that we need to prep Ex-Aid real quick by taking off his default gamer driver and bringing in the level 5 gamer driver, which is actually done more similarly to the default one. As you can see, this one is painted in lime green and pink instead of being clear green plastic. And you see it does have a molded in Drago Knight Hunter Z GACHAAN in the second slot. So we'll just plug that right on. And Ex-Aid is ready. Next we'll need to break up the Hunter Gamer into a few different pieces. Starting off, we'll take this piece here, and detach it from these pegs up here. Then take off the legs by detaching them on the sides. And then use these pegs to connect. And we're ready to combine. So, first we'll take this piece, and while having it tilted forward like this, drop it down and peg it into the two tabs on its shoulders, and swing that down and around. Have it peg into the holes on his waist, just like so. Then take this piece and plug these two pegs back in to the holes near his shoulders. just like so. Then peg in the arms to Ex-Aid's arms. Next, moving down to the legs. For each leg, need to take the foot, swing this piece back and rotate all the way around, then place it up against the back, like so. And do the same with the other leg. Then bring this piece up and out. Then to attach it, we open them up, like so. Then using the peg on the inside, peg it to the side of Ex-Aid's legs. Just like so, then close it up, like that, and do the same for the other side. And for this piece, it's a little bit, well, it can come off, but it also can just snap back on just as easily. Then finally, lower down the jaw and position the upper jaw. And here we have Kamen Rider Ex-Aid, Hunter Action Gamer Level 5, Full Dragon. So here we have the first version of the Hunter Gamer modes, or the level 5 forms, which uses all of the armor. As you can see, Ex-Aid's head is peeking out through the dragon's mouth. He's got all his armor running across his chest, his arms, and even on his legs, which definitely gives him a very strong look to him. It definitely is just overall very impressive and very cool, though one of the drawbacks to this form is that it does have a bit of limited articulation due to the design. Because of the way that the shoulders are pegged in, you can't really move them up any much more than this. Though you can bend up the elbows up to this point and move them outwards a little bit. You can kind of fiddle around with that. Not by doing that, but that is something that will come into play a little bit later. Basically by raising up the armor pieces and then kind of moving up Ex-Aid's arms to match. Or alternatively, if you want, you can actually detach these two pieces, then reattach them to the forearms, and that'll allow you to get a little bit of rotation out of the form. And then for the leg articulation, it still has the rotation, but if you want to get him to bend his knees, you need to kind of move these pieces out of the way. But he can still be posed, and you just have to kind of fiddle around with this a little bit in order to get him into some more impressive poses than simply him standing with his elbows bent like that. But overall, this is definitely my favorite version of the level 5 form, simply because it does use all the pieces and definitely looks very cool. For Ex-Aid's second level 5 form, all we need to do is remove a few pieces. So, we'll remove the arms, as you saw that I accidentally did, by detaching them here and then unpegging them. from these ports up here. Then, open up the leg armor and remove those pieces. Then just set them off to the side. And here we have Kamen Rider Ex-Aid Hunter Action Gamer level 5. In this mode he uses the Dragon Fang, getting the head of the dragon that lets him do strong biting attacks and breathe fire. As you can see, this piece is definitely meant to fit Ex-Aid, since it has the metallic pink, and these stripes here match up with the lines that run down his body. And in this mode, while it doesn't really give him any kind of new weapon for his hands or legs, this does let him get a lot more articulation. And definitely is pretty cool, even without the other armor pieces. For Brave's combination, we need to prepare him in the same way as Ex-Aid. We'll take off the default gamer driver and place on the level 5 gamer driver. Then he'll use the right limb pieces from the dragon. So we'll just attach the arm piece to his right arm, putting it in at the shoulder and forearm. You'll notice fully animated here that click. Then open up the leg piece and attach it to his right leg. Just like so. And here we have Kamen Rider Brave, Hunter Quest Gamer level 5. In this mode, he uses the Dragon Blade on his right arm. And as you can see, the pieces for him have designs that very much match up with the designs that run along his suit, continuing the trend from Ex-Aid. Though it is interesting that for this he technically has less armor on than he does in his level 3 form, but it still does match up pretty well, and you still do get the new gamer driver with the added GACHAAN. And he does have a little bit more articulation in the arm than Ex-Aid Full Dragon, though it is technically blocked by this little peg here that is there for another mode, as well as the level 1 face on its back. And once again, if you want to, you can technically detach this piece and reattach it to just the forearm to get some rotation. He has the same articulation issue that you just need to move that piece out of the way in order to get him to bend his knee. But when posed from the right angle, it definitely looks pretty cool. For Snipe's combination, he'll use the left limb pieces, but we need to do the same prep work by switching out the two gamer drivers. so. And we'll attach this up here. It helps to have this piece angled upward so it doesn't hit the cloak piece. Then open up the leg armor, peg it on, and close it up. And here we have Kamen Rider Snipe, Hunter Shooting Gamer level 5. In this mode he uses the dragon gun on his left arm, and though the patterns definitely match up, the strange thing is that these pieces are painted yellow, whereas his accent color is actually a pale green. Though it is pretty similar, it's still a little bit strange that they would have that discrepancy. This form definitely also looks cool, pairing up these new armaments, along with his general design and his cloak piece, which this time doesn't get removed. And once again, he has the same bit of articulation limitation in his arms, but you can still use that workaround trick for his legs. Once again, this combination definitely looks cool when posed at the right angles. And for Laser's combination, he'll use both the right limb and left limb pieces. So to prep him, you need to lift up the kickstand and remove both of the wheel pieces. Then transform him like we were turning him into level 3. So split the legs, lift and flip around the head, then lift up the shoulder pads. You then need to modify the limb pieces a little bit, so for the arms, going to take this connector peg and flip it in and around to reveal ball joints, one on each side. And for the legs, we'll push back in this piece and flip back down and around the feet. And we'll peg the feet into the sockets here, just like so. And pop the arms into the shoulders. And here's Kamen Rider Laser, Hunter Bike Gamer level 5. In this mode he uses the Dragon Claws, which is basically just using the Dragon Blade and Dragon Gun at the same time. Though in this case, his arms are just the arm pieces, and his lower legs are the leg pieces, meaning he also has the dragon's hands and feet. Now admittedly, because they're kind of hollowed out on the inner sides, the arms look a little bit on the janky side, and he does have these little gaps between his heels and feet. But it's still a very valiant effort. And it's interesting that we get him using the level 3 head, but without the face piece, which is perhaps what he would have looked like if he had a bit more humanoid looking level 2 form. That's pretty cool. He also notably still has the same painted on gamer driver, since there isn't any new waist piece for him. But he still has a pretty decent range of articulation. You can move the shoulders on the ball joints, move them up and down, and bend the elbows. Unfortunately, there's no way to really rotate them, since there isn't a rotation joint here, which would have been nice. And you can still move the hips all around and bend the knees, though he gets a case of this just big gap in the knee, as well as moving around the feet and ankles. And he does seem to have a bit of a tendency to try to fall forward if you're not careful enough, just because there are these gaps in the ankles. But he can still be posed pretty well. And it's still a pretty cool form, and it's neat to just have another form that uses the more humanoid body for laser. And finally, due to the way that the Hunter Gamer splits up into multiple pieces, you can equip it to multiple riders at once. Now normally if you have just one set, you can only equip it to either Ex-Aid, Brave, and Snipe at once, or Ex-Aid and Laser, but if you have two sets, which is what I did, you can assemble a full Hunter team, like I've shown here, and you can even use the leftover Dragon Fang parts to equip to Genmu. Though because it's a lot of black on black, it doesn't look as good as it could, and it doesn't look as good as it does on Ex-Aid in my opinion, but it's still a cool option. And of course you can also equip the full Dragon mode to Brave, Snipe, or Genmu as well. Of course that won't work for Laser since he can only equip the parts to his arms and legs. But it's still cool that you have those options. And there we go. Overall, just like with the Drago Knight Hunter Z GACHAAN, the Hunter Gamer is a very versatile set. It's very cool that you can take the pieces and make them into 5 different formations that you can use with the 4 different riders. 5 if you include Genmu, though those forms would be non-canon. Still, it is incredible how much engineering was put into here to make it possible for all these pieces to combine with the different riders in different ways. And I do like that they managed to not leave any rider out. Though admittedly, some of the limitations are mostly due to how it has to combine with Laser, but I still appreciate that they put in those joints and parts to allow for that combination. And while the full Dragon form is limited by design, there are some workarounds that you can also use in some of the other modes to kind of get around it and enhance the articulation and posability. And despite that, it is a very good looking form with a lot of very clean lines and just a lot of very accurate paint and detail. So if you're a big fan of the level 5 forms and you have some of the different figures that you can use for it, then I can definitely recommend picking up this set. Next time I'll be going back to Appmon and reviewing the Appmon pair and cover sets. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and or comment, and subscribe to keep up with my latest videos. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.